Welcome to the fourth session of our webinar series for this academic year. The topic that we're going to look at today is transforming school management, implementing technology in administration. My name is Nirmal. I am a program manager at Vartana Finance, and I'll be your host for today. If you're not aware of what Vartana is and what we do, we are an NBFC. We have a vision of transforming private school education across the country. So we provide them with loans, and we also provide them with other support structures such as webinars and training programs and so forth. We will be exploring some of our programs later, so please ensure that you are with us till the end so that you can get to know even more about Vartana. But before we go ahead and get started completely, I just want to know where the participants of today's sessions are from and what your profile is exactly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch a poll in your screen. You will get a prompt. Please select the one that applies to you the best. If you're a school leader, please select school leader. If you're a teacher, please go ahead and select teacher. I see that a lot of us today, a lot of us that have joined today are teachers. Some of them are principals and school coordinators. Folks, let's take 30 to 40 seconds more, and uh, we can understand then who our participants are. I see more and more participants are joining in. For those who have just joined in, folks, I have launched a poll, and this poll helps us understand who our participants are and where they're coming from. So if you can see the prompt on your screen, please go ahead and choose one that applies to you the best. Let's take 10 more seconds to do that, and then we can move forward with the session. Right. So I have published the results. As you can see, most of us that are there today with us are teachers. There are some there are school coordinators and a few other folks as well. So now, without further ado, let's get into our session and let's see what exactly we're going to be learning today, what exactly we're going to be looking at today. So the first objective for today is to understand the importance and benefits of integrating technology in school administration. That is, what exactly are you going to benefit from doing from integrating technology into your school administration? Next objective is how you can use technology in administrative tasks in your school and solve some common issues that we'll discuss later. And the last but not the least, certainly, is we will go ahead and explore some examples and some case studies of how schools across the country and across the world also have used technology and made their administrative tasks much more effective and efficient, right? So now we know what the objectives are, what we're going to learn, what we're going to look at through the session. Let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and start off with a very quick activity. Again, this is going to be a poll, right? What are some of the tasks that you do on a daily basis in school? So now I see that we have a lot of teachers that have joined with us. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll. Please use the poll prompt on your screen and select, and you can select as many as you want. It's not just one like last time. What are some of the tasks that you do on a daily basis in school? If you prepare for your next lesson, please go ahead and select that. If you take attendance every day in your class, go ahead and select that. If you score tests and you mark those in those big thick registers, please go ahead and do that as well. And at the end, you know how we have to consolidate marks at the end of every month so that it's in that big register. If you do that, please go ahead and vote that as well. It's a multiple choice again, folks. So if you want to select multiple options, please go ahead and select that. I see prepare for your next lesson. Everybody has voted that. Some of you have also said you take attendance. Some of you have said you attend class. Over 50%, that is over half of us, have said that you score and record marks. So let's take 10 more seconds. I think only about 50% of the participants have voted. So let's take a little bit longer and get some more insights on this. Okay, I see consolidating attendance and marks. We're getting some votes for that as well. Taking attendance, of course, very important. That is close in second place. Thank you, folks, for voting. Now, I just want you to imagine a situation where where you are in class and you are taking attendance and you're done with your class and it's the end of the month and you have to go and take all the attendance in your class register and put it into the school register. It takes a lot of time. And similarly for marks as well, you have to first grade all the papers, then you have to calculate the total marks, and then you have to move those marks into a different register, and then you have to write the percentage, and you have to give them a grade A, B, C, D. So that takes a lot of time. So these are some time taking activities that you do on a daily basis in school, right? So I'm going to go ahead and move to the next slide. We are going to similarly discuss what are some other common time-taking activities and issues that we find in school administration. So the first thing that we just discussed was pen and paper record keeping. So marking all your attendances in that register and consolidating all the attendance in a different register, marking all your test scores on a piece of paper that the student has written in, and then transferring that to a different register as well. So that is one of the biggest challenges currently in school administration. Why are there challenges? Is because you know how tricky little errors here and there can be. Instead of 31, if you write 32, instead of 80, you write 88. There is a lot of margin for error. And of course, with error comes correcting those errors. And especially in terms of attendance recording, if one student's attendance status is different for one day, you're going to have to redo the entire thing. You're going to have to tear that paper, form a new one, and then only can you correct it. And similar with your mark sheet as well. It's time consuming to change these errors, and just time consuming in general to mark and to copy and to transfer and consolidate, right? The next uh, issue or challenges that we face in administration is the cost. So where I think we have a lot of school leaders and principals here as well. So folks, I'm sure you are aware of how expensive having to keep on buying these registers, these papers, to print more and more circulars. All these, they add up and they cost tens and thousands of even, or sometimes even lakhs of rupees, right? And that is, of course, like if you can reduce that, it's better. You can focus on other things. You can spend on more important or more useful things, right? So that is going to be expensive. That is stationery and labor, and storing and looking up. By look up, I mean if let's say a DEO or a BEO visits your school and requests for information of the mark score from 5 years ago, you're going to have to go to your storage device, and then we're going to have to dig out the register and then go to the correct page. So it takes a lot of time, and it's a lot of money as well, right? So that is what we call high administrative costs, and I think we can agree that it is very high, and it takes a lot of time as well. Now, the last but not the least, again, issue or the challenge that we find is inefficient engagement. And by engagement, I mean engaging the school community, engaging the students, engaging the parents, engaging the wider community around as well. So the issue here is you're going to have to create a lot of circulars, you're going to have to print a lot of circulars, and you're going to have to give that circular to your students. And you don't even know when the circular is going to reach the parent. You don't even know if the circular has reached the parent. So the turnaround time for getting any responses and to successfully engage the community, the parents, students around your school, it's a long time. Just think about it. You're going to have to create the circular, and then you're going to have to give it to the student. The student will then have to give it to the parents. The parents may or may not read it on the same day. They may read it a day or two later, and then they're going to have to sign it, give that back to the student, and then the student is going to come back to us. So it may take about 3 or 4 days in a worst case scenario to really close the loop on communication or engaging with our the school community. Right now, again, I just want you to imagine, what if a lot of these tasks, if not all of these tasks, didn't take up so much time and energy on a daily basis? What if you did not have to consolidate the attendance? What if you don't have to keep following up with your students on whether they got the permission slip signed or whether they got their diary signed? Just what if? Imagine the amount of time you can save and you can use in the more important things in school, like planning for your lesson, like delivering that lesson, like engaging your students in meaningful conversations and lessons. The important things. Imagine how much time we can save if we do not have to do a lot of these, or we do not have to face a lot of these challenges. Well, that is exactly what we are going to look at right now. That is, what can we achieve? What are the benefits of integrating technology into our school administration? Now, I'm sure there are some school leaders or principals here that have successfully integrated technology into your school, and you are the best testimony to these benefits. But let's go through it so that everybody else can understand here, right? So the first, as we just saw, we can save a lot of time and cost. We don't have to keep printing circulars. We don't have to keep buying those thick, fat registers that you have to fill out on a monthly basis. You don't have to get storage, let's say, cupboards or shelves that you have to keep these registers in. And of course, you don't need to take any time in just identifying a record from a certain date. So integrating technology makes your school administration far cheaper and far more efficient. That means it doesn't take as much time. And that is exactly the next point. It increases your efficiency and your accuracy. By efficiency, I mean the time it takes to do a certain task at a certain quality, and accuracy, whether the data, whether the detail is correct or not. So with pen and paper and registers, as we observed earlier, there is a high margin for error. But with technology, you don't have to take that much time to fix those errors, even if you make an error, right? If you have ever used Google Sheets, you know that if you make an error, all you have to do is press the delete key on your keyboard and type the correct answer, type the correct, input the correct data. So you know that your accuracy is increased, your time is increased on correcting them, and that way your school management or your school administration is far more efficient. The next one, which is probably the most important function or the benefits of technology in school administration, is decision making. Now, we're going to see how it's going to aid in decision making, but just the mere fact that you are able to see a lot of data, a lot of information that's collected automatically and brought to you in one screen, it helps you make decisions very easily. Just to give you an example, in an attendance tracking software, you can see the attendance of different classes and different students across different months. So, for instance, if you notice that in December, the attendance for a certain grade is low, then you know what your next decision has to be. You know that you need to bring up the attendance in December for this certain class. So you're going to plan and you're going to strategize on how you can increase attendance based on the data that the technology that or the technological tool has given you. So we're going to go ahead and see many more instances of how decisions can be made using technological tools, but it does aid. It is very helpful in helping you make decisions. Now, we move on to the last, but again, not the least, benefit of technology. That is, it enhances accessibility and communication of data and information to anybody, not just the school leader or the person who's the admin of the school, but to everybody else. And by this, I mean you have everything stored in one sheet. So you don't have to keep searching across different files and folders to get one piece of data. Maybe even if it was 10, 20 years ago, you still have it at the palm of your hand. And talking about accessibility, the only way you can access the register is through the register. You cannot, if for instance you are 100 kilometers away from the school and you need data immediately, if you're in a meeting, especially with the DEO or the BEO, you can't get that register, right? But how accessible is technology when you can use your phone? You can sometimes use your tablet, your laptop, or even a TV. Yes, nowadays we can view data and we can use the software on TV in TVs to see data about your school. So that is what I mean by accessibility. The data is accessible in multiple formats. Now, I'm going to go ahead and launch one more poll before we move on to the slightly heavier part of the session. This poll is going to be about what are some of the technological tools you use on a daily basis in school. So again, this is a multi-select poll. Please select all or any that applies to you. So in your school, if you use Google Suite, that is Google Sheets, Google Forms, Google Docs, Google Form, any such tool, right? Please go ahead and select that. If you use ERP softwares, that is enterprise resource management softwares like Soho School, please go ahead and use that. If you use Zoom, that is a platform where you can communicate directly via video conferencing with anybody, with major stakeholders. Please use that. If you don't use any software, please go ahead and use that as well. I think that is the reason we are here, to understand how we can use softwares and technology to enhance school administration. And if there are any other softwares that you use that are not on this list, please go ahead and mention that in the Q&A section. If you don't know what the Q&A section is, folks, on the bottom of your screen, you will see a little circle, a chat box of sort with a question mark on it. Please click on that, and please write your answer there so that we can all get your insights. It would be really wonderful to have. So I can see that a lot of you use Google Suite, or G Suite, as I'm going to mention it from now. That's great. That, I think, by using G Suite itself, you have taken a huge step into making your administration more effective. We'll go ahead and see how exactly we can use this to make it effective. But just by using these softwares, I'm sure you have already noticed the benefits. A lot of you have also used ERP softwares. ERP softwares are usually used in tracking student teacher attendance and any other issues regarding administration and the people that are in the school. And some of you have voted for Zoom. Zoom is extremely useful, especially if you remember the COVID times when you had to conduct video sessions, online classes rather, and Zoom gave away their free premium package to everyone so that you can continue education for your students. So that's great. I see some that have voted none as well. And I see a response, Chat GPT, tab and TV in classroom and computer education lab. Great, great, great. This is amazing. We're going to look at softwares today, but of course, technology is not limited to just softwares. We have a lot of other physical hardware tools, like your projector, like your screens, like your TV, right? And we're going to look at one at the end of the session that may particularly interest you. And they are all like really helpful technological tools. And I really like the mention of Chat GPT here. Artificial intelligence is on the rise, and using that in school in the right way, of course, would be absolutely great. Would make everything easier. But I see that some of you have voted none, and some of you have voted Google Suite, that is Google Sheets and Google Forms, and so on and so forth. Right? Let's now look at how we can use some of these tools in solving some common yet really heavy, really disturbing administrative problems, right? And to help us identify these problems, we are taking the help of Dr. Deepak Chowdhury on his paper on a study of the management problems of the principals of schools of Gujarat. Now, it's really obvious that this study was conducted in Gujarat, that too among 40 schools. But I think when we look at this and when we go through this data, we'll understand how all of us, and I as a teacher I've been a teacher for 2 years in the past, have faced this issue as well. So I have put the breakdown here. So as you can see, out of 40 schools, 36 schools have said that they have issues with fee collection and enrollment, right? It could be from tracking enrollment, how many students have joined, what are the details of the student, how much is their fee, and how much of that they have paid. So these are, in a nutshell, just to summarize, the issues that schools face with fee collection and enrollment. And as you can see, 36 out of 40 schools have faced this. Moving on, we have 30 schools that have said that they have issues with attendance. And to be more specific, it is with attendance tracking and pulling out attendance details when required. One instance in the study was when a government official came to audit the school, and they had asked for the last 5 years of attendance. The school found it really difficult to bring 10, 15, or 20 such thick registers out on the table and go through them. Took a long time, right? So that is one of the biggest issues faced in attendance and tracking attendance. And slightly less than that, that is 28 out of 40 schools have said that they face issues in community engagement. One of their biggest issue is the turnaround time on decisions made with the help of the community. That means if they want to take their students out on field trips or any sort of picnics, or collect fee for a certain, collect extra fees at some amount for a certain activity, it used to take, or it still does take, a long time. So now let's go ahead and break these issues down and see what tools can help us. So, as you can see, the first issue that we are focusing on is fee collection and enrollment. Now, there are two really simple, and keep in mind, the best part of this is they are free. There are two really simple and free tools that can help schools with enrollment and fee collection. That is Google Forms, and the next one is Google Sheets. Don't worry, we'll be going into detail about how these tools can help us in enrollment and fee collection and other issues. And we'll also look at templates, that is live examples of these softwares in use to solve these issues. The next one is attendance tracking and just attendance in general. One really easy tool that we can use here is Google Sheets. We'll look at the templates again. And the last one, community engagement, the best tool, and a tool that I'm sure 99% of you use is WhatsApp. Now, we're going to be focusing much more on the first 2 points, that is enrollment and fee collection, as well as tracking attendance. So let's get into it. Let's see how we can use Google Forms and Google Sheets to streamline enrollment and fee collection, shall we? I see there's another comment. Okay, Microsoft Teams. Great. Thank you. Please, folks, do not stop putting your inputs down. I may not be able to read them all the time, but I will always come back to this and read your insights. And I've been loving your insights so far. Please go ahead and continue posting your invites. Microsoft Teams is very, very useful, and having worked with people or having known people who use Microsoft Teams in their organizations, I can see how they benefited from it. They have a huge amount of different softwares, and the integration between those softwares have been so good that Microsoft Teams is more than enough to, handle administration at a much more efficient rate. Again, folks, please keep these comments coming. I'll read them out, and we would love to hear more. But coming back to the session, let's see how using Google Forms and Google Sheets it can help us streamline enrollment and fee collection. So let's first look at features and how we can, like, what are the use cases of these tools before going into the actual demonstration or the sample templates that we have, right? So the first tool that we're going to look at, of course, as we mentioned earlier, is Google Forms. Let's go over some of its features. So the first one and the second one, I would like to combine these. That is customizable templates and different question types. So by templates, I mean you can make your Google form look the way you want it to look. It's completely customizable. That means, as mentioned here, you can use different types of questions. You can use multiple select questions like we have used in the poll today. We can use single select questions. Again, like the first poll that we did today. If you want if you want your user to choose from a drop down menu, that means a lot of options, and for them to be able to select one, you can use that. You can use a grid, and if you don't know what this means, of course we're going to look at this later, but you can use different question types and you can customize your Google Forms to look the way you want it to. And just to add to that, there's something we call media integration. That means you can add an image to enhance your form. You can change the color to make it look better. You can add videos to, let's say, give your users a tutorial on how to fill the form or how to, conduct a certain activity. Or you can even put audio files such as music, such as voice instructions, or just any voice note that you want to add, like the ones you send on WhatsApp, right? You can add the same thing on Google Forms. So media integration on Google Forms is great, and it's really easy to do as well. Now, the last feature among a lot of features is real-time responses. Now, real-time responses, by this, I mean, the second somebody fills out your form, you get to see the response on your Google Sheet, on your device, any device. Again, accessibility, right? You can use it on your phone, you can use it on your laptop, right? But the second somebody fills out a form, you get the response. You get to see what they've selected on your device. So how do these features actually help us in enrollment fee collection? So the first one is an admission. You can use an admission form. You can just send it to the person that is interested and they can fill out the details, and you don't have to fill anything else for them. It's automatically with you. So admission forms can be created using Google Forms, and it makes admissions much easier. Fee collection forms and receipts, of course. every time you are collecting an installment or the lump sum of fees for a student in your school, you can just send them this form. They can fill out details and the amount that they have paid and the date they have paid, so that you can collect, you can track when this particular student has paid their fees. And the same software, that is Google Forms, can also send a receipt to them. Again, I'm going to show you the demonstrations of these. I'm going to also put down a lot of these in the handouts that you're going to get after this, where you can find out how to do these tasks and how to enable these, right? So that is one use case. The next one is you can use it to do course selection for students. So especially in the higher grades, 8th, ninth, and 10th, the students may have a choice between arts and physical education and computer science, economics, and different courses that they can select. And even on a larger basis, right? If they want to choose commerce, science, or arts, you can just send them a Google form instead of going to each student and asking for their preference. And just like that, as soon as they fill it, you get to see the preference of each student on screen. So Google Forms is a great way to help in course selection. And the last one, definitely not the least, is feedback survey. That means if you want to conduct any sort of surveys on how your school is performing, how a certain teacher or how a certain facility of your school is performing, you can just send a Google form with questions that you would like to get answers on that can help you judge the performance of certain things in your school. You can just send that out to your parent group on WhatsApp, and by the time they fill it, you can get a comprehensive amount of information on how on the feedback of the parents. Now, that is Google Forms, and we've seen how Google Form can help us streamline enrollment and fee collection. The next topic, or the next tool that we're going to look at in this is Google Sheets. Let's look at some of the features, right? The first one is collaborative editing, and cloud storage. So, two really important or really troubling issues are out of the way just by using Google Sheets. So, if you are working on a document and you require different perspectives, or you are discussing with somebody, you can have both those people, or you can have everybody in a discussion edit the same sheet. You can have all of them in the same sheet, and they can add their information, they can delete, they can, perform different functions on Google Sheets together. You don't have to wait for just one person to do it. A lot of people can do it at the same time. And the next one, really important, is cloud storage. Google Sheets can contain a lot of information. I think it can contain over 10 lakh rows or cells of information. That is a lot of information, folks. And imagine if you had to put that same amount of information on registers, you're going to have to build at least another building, right, to store all those registers. And you don't have to do it here. Everything is stored in the cloud. Uh, you can access it using your phone. You can use it on your laptop. And the best of it, you don't have to build any storage devices to keep this information. The next one is analytics and formulae. So we can use Google Sheets to make a lot of things automated. That means you don't need people to perform certain tasks to get certain outputs. Google Sheets, you can use formulas, you can use different functions to make your data analytics far easier, right? The next one, again, really important if you're using multiple softwares, not just this, and even if you're not, even if you just want to share it with other people, you have the feature of importing and exporting data. So I'll just go to the easier one first. That's export. Export can be just downloading, you can print it, you can screenshot, and you can share it with people as well. And import is if somebody shares another file with you, you can import that into your Google Sheets, your database, whatever you're using Google Sheets for, readily. So you don't have to type it down manually. You don't have to, wait to, get a paper and write things down to communicate with others. They're all simple 2-3 click features available on Google Sheets. The last one, and certainly not the least, because Google Sheets has a lot of other functions that you will find out as you keep using, is data visualization. Now, as I said, Google Sheets, an average Google Sheet can hold over 10 lakh pieces of information in their cells. So to read them might be difficult and might be time taking, but you can use the data visualization features such as using graphs and charts to see a summary of of the data. So that is some of the features. How are these features helpful in fee collection and enrollment? Let's look at that now, shall we? uh, you can track enrollment. You can see how the trends of enrollment are. Everything will be provided to you in one sheet, really easy to view. You can see how many people, how many students have enrolled for which class, and what the date of enrollment was, and what school they studied in previously, and a lot of other data. So you can track your enrollment on one single sheet, very easy to view on Google Sheets. Next one is fee collection. Similarly, you have data all in one sheet. You can have visibility on who has paid how much fees, how much is pending, and you can also use this to send fee receipts. You can build a really nifty tool that we're going to see in our demonstrations just after this, on how to create a fee receipt and how we can send that to parents or students. Next one is automated calculations. As we mentioned before, the formulae and the analytics tool in Google Sheets helps us calculate and automatically calculate. For instance, you don't have to, if you're, let's say, uh, calculating the marks of a certain student, you don't have to write it all down and then use a separate calculator. You can just use a formula, and as soon as you write all their marks down, it's calculated. You don't have to do anything, it's automatically calculated. And just like that, the calculations can, however difficult or however complex they are, it can be done automatically. And of course, communication and reporting. That is, as I just mentioned, fee receipts. You can use Google Sheets to automate fee receipts, send it to them, so you're able to communicate. And the reports that you form using Google Sheets is really concise, really easy, and that can be shared with multiple people using the export feature really easily. Now, these are just some of the features, some of the use cases, right? Because when you start to use it on a daily basis to solve problems in your school, you will understand how useful these tools can be. So for now, let's look at how these two tools are helpful in fee collection and enrollment. So the first tool that we're going to look at is Google Forms. So I'm going to go ahead and share my sheet, share my screen to this, and it's a really simple Google form, right? I have just 3-4 questions here, but as we looked at it before, you can customize it to have as many questions as you want. Let me just delete this and get it ready for you. So this, again, as I mentioned, it's a really simple fee collection tool. Anytime you're collecting a fee from somebody and you want to track that, you want to keep record of that, you just send it to them and they fill it out and it's recorded for you. So this is a very simple one, as I mentioned before, just contains the student name, the class, and the division, and the amount paid. But you can also add other questions, right? Let's look at what are the other questions you can add, type of questions, especially if you want to add a short answer question, maybe for any feedback on how the entire process went, you can use that. If you want a paragraph, you can use that as well. Maybe not in a fee collection form, but let's say you are using this in a non-administrative way, right? If you're using this to quiz a student and the student has to write an essay, there you go. You can just use this type of question. Multiple choice questions like the one we have used here, and check boxes. That means it's a multiple select ones like the polls we looked at earlier, and multiple other. You can even have file uploads as well if you want, let's say, some documents that you have to collect for enrollment, right? Like maybe the PAN card, the Aadhaar card, the previous year certificates, and let's say, the exit slips that you can have them upload that as well. So this is a really simple fee tracker, but you know how useful and what the different features are. So you can go ahead and make your own. The templates, different tutorials, that means videos on how you can use this, will be provided to you on the handout that you'll receive after this session. So please look out for that. Please stay till the end of the session so that you can receive that as well. That will contain a lot more information and very easy tips and tricks on how you can integrate Google Forms into your school. So I'm going back to the slide. We looked at how Google Forms can be used. Let's see how Google Sheets can be used in fee enrollment. I'm going to go ahead and share my tab. And I think this would be the best time to tell you, the easiest time to tell you that Google Forms and Google Sheets can be integrated with each other. So as you can see, by the little purple icon on the bottom, you can see that the Google form that we just saw has been integrated into this. And every time a person fills it up, it will come here automatically. So you can see that we have about 10 entries on 10, on like three or four, five students that have paid their fees already, right? So using that, you have easy access to data that you can fill in and enhance and populate your uh, fee tracking Google Sheet. So let's look at how I've built this exactly. So first, I've put the fee structure of the school here. This school, for example, has only five classes. That is nursery one, grade two, grade three, grade four, and we have two sections. That's A and B for each. I have gone ahead and written the fee amount. This again is a formula that I've used to automate or to calculate automatically based on what the different breakdown of the fees is. For example, for nursery A, the tuition fee is 12, the term fee is 5,000, and the activity fees is 2,000. So the sum or the calculation has been done automatically and it has come to 21,000, right? But let's say after a while you have added extra activities, so you're charging more. So you have changed it to 3,000. So you can see that when I've changed to 3,000, the fee amount has automatically changed for nursery A. And let's say after a while, you decided that you don't want that much activity. So you just decrease that by 500 rupees. So you can see it is automatically changed to 2,500 rupees. So that is what I meant by using formulae and automating calculations so that you don't have to sit and do it all the time. So just to go on with our demonstration, our sample template here, I have first identified what the different fees are going to look like and what the amount is going to be totally. From there, we are going to fill this in. So here you can see we have about 10 students from different parts of India: Manjot, Prajwal, Sarah, Fatima, Ali, John, Malvika, Nitya, Tarun, Pavleen, right? So we can see that these many students have enrolled, and you can see what their total fee amount is as well, right? You may have noticed this discount bit there. Maybe you want to offer discounts to enhance your enrollment, and to do that you don't really have to calculate anything. You just use a formula and the discount is applied automatically and you get the final total fee amount here automatically. And to really track the fee collection, you can use the responses that you've seen here to see when and how much they've paid. For instance, Manjot has paid 3,000. So their first payment is done, and then maybe sometime later they paid 5,900, and then they've gone along and they've paid their total amount. So as you can see, total fee received has been calculated automatically, and if there is any fee outstanding for the student, it will show up here. Like here, as you can see, this student, that is Tarun, their fee amount is 19,000. They have not received any discount on it, but they have paid only 17,500. So as you can see, 1,500 rupees is outstanding and it has been highlighted in red. Now, what you can use this is, as I mentioned before, a school fee reminder or a receipt. And here, just by choosing the name of the student, now we're going to select Tarun, or rather, let's see somebody who has a, yeah, I think it is Pavleen. So Pavleen, sorry, yeah, Prajwal, sorry, Prajwal has outstanding fees of 2,000 rupees. So just by um, uh, selecting the student's name, you get their grade, you get their division, you get their outstanding fees, and the date already filled in. All you have to do is send them this message that is automatically been added here and tell them that by a certain date you need this fee, and everything else is filled out for you automatically, right? All you have to do is print this and send it over to the student for whom the fee is pending, and you are sorted, right? So this is again just the template, folks. This is one template. A lot of different schools, a lot of different organizations use different templates, and just for that, just so that we can help you out, I have compiled over 5 templates for different use cases for the two issues that we're looking at, that you can use directly in your school, or you can get inspiration from and build your own tool. I would honestly suggest you build your own tool because you learn a lot from building it. And Google Sheets is not a very difficult tool to use. And to help you use that, there are tutorials in the handout as well, video tutorials both in Hindi and English, both beginner and expert. Whatever you want to watch, those links are provided to you in the handout. So please look out for them at the end of the session as well. Now, let's go to the next problem that we face, that is attendance tracking. So the attendance tracking system has been quite difficult for a while. How can Google Sheets help you enhance this and streamline this? First is you can mark attendance. The teachers no longer need to carry a book. They can just use their phones and mark attendance. Really accessible. You can consolidate and summarize attendance using the automated calculations and the easy view. You can consolidate and you can summarize the attendance for a month, for a week, for an entire year for different students. Lastly, you can automate a lot of these reports, and it's very easy. You can just export it and you can send it to the principal or whoever wants to view it. So the communication is easy. Now, when you start using this, you'll realize how easy it is. But let's look at a template that we have come up with here, right? This is a really simple attendance tracking template that has about 13 students, and this is for the month of April 2024. The class here is 10th standard, the grade is A, so I've created for May and April as well. It's really simple. All you have to do is get the template ready, and based on the day and the student, you just mark it. For example, on 1st of April, that's the Monday, everybody was absent. There was nobody absent. Everybody is present, sorry, nobody was absent. But on the second, you can see that Arjun was absent. On the third, Arjun was absent as well. And Naina was absent as well on the third. So every time somebody's present, you just mark it as P and it shows in green automatically. If somebody's absent, you mark it as A and it shows in red automatically. I'm going to demonstrate that for you right now. I marked it as A and it automatically becomes red. I marked it as A here, it's automatically become red. Let's say you made a mistake. Again, demonstrating how easy mistakes are to correct. Arav was actually present on 8th. Maybe he just came a little late. You just have to mark him present again, and the calculations around automatically change themselves depending on the changes we made. And what are the calculations automatically? It tells you how many were present on each day, right? Here you can see there were all students were present on the first, and all students were present on Thursday on the fourth as well. And you can also see how many are absent on that day. Similarly, you can see for each student how many days was Arav present in this month and how many days was he absent. You can see that Arav has a good record. He's been present for 20 days, absently for 2, while Kavya and Rajesh, 100% record. While some like Nana, they were absent for 7 days and present only 15. So any mistake that you make, let's say Nana was actually present on this day, it automatically calculates in both places. So error, errors can be rectified really easily. Again, I have gone ahead and made that for 24th. You can see that the dates and the days have changed, and based on their attendance, this also will change. So everything else here will change as well. Again, folks, this is a really simple tool. This will be provided in the handout. A tutorial on how to use this will be provided as well, along with other templates and other tutorials to build your own attendance tracker. So please stay with us till the end of the session so that you can receive these handouts and you can go ahead and implement these straight in your school. Right now, coming to one really important point, that is making decisions. Right, I spoke about how easy decisions are to make with tools. So let's go back to our April sheet. You can see that you can see with a lot of ease that there are some students who haven't been present for the entire month. Maybe 22 days, 22 days great, that's 100%. 20 is also great. Maybe 19 days present is great. But you notice that there are some that have not been present for over 5 days. Maybe it is Ananya that has been absent for 5 days. Maybe it's Arjun that has been absent for 6 days. Maybe it's Naina that has been absent for 7 days. So you know that with these students, something is happening. They are absent for way too long. So you know, as a teacher, as a school leader, you are able to make that decision on which student that you have to give certain amount of attention to, whether it is to follow up with their parents, whether it is to give them a little extra attention in class so that you can invest them better, so that they feel motivated to come back to class. Whatever it is, the data that you see using Google Sheets helps you make really important daily quick decisions without having to do much calculations. Imagine if you didn't have this, you have to look at daily attendance sheets. Those are different pages, by the way, and you have to really calculate and see how many days they were absent for, how many days they were present. So it takes a lot of time. In this case, it's just one simple view, and you get all the information directly in your phone, in your TV, even, or most importantly in your laptop and your tablet, right? So now we have gone through how we can use Google Sheets not to just streamline attendance tracking, but also fee collection and enrollment. And we've also seen how we can use. Oh, I'm just coming back. Sorry, folks, I haven't shared the screen yet. We have seen how we have used Google Forms to enhance fee collection and enrollment. Right now, something maybe in your mind. You said I said that I can use it. You can use these softwares on mobile devices, right? Yes, you are absolutely right, and it's not even difficult. It is very similar to how it is on a tablet or laptop. I have zoomed out here a little bit, but you can zoom in. There's no issue with clarity. You can type things using the keyboard. You can perform functions. You can perform all the other features like export, import, and calculations with ease on your phone as well. So if there was any hesitation to use Google Sheets in your administrative tasks because it's not really accessible on your phone, do not worry about that, folks. It is really easily accessible, as you can see here. Now, let's move on to the last part, that is some case studies. So if you remember the objectives, the last one was how some schools across the country and across the world have used technology, not just these tools but different tools, to enhance their administrative tasks. Um, so let's go ahead and look at the first one, that is uh, the use of the Ujjwal app, and how 100 government schools, more than 100 actually, we'll look at that, and how 100 schools use this app to go paperless and make their administration really easy. So let's look at that. The scenario is that over 130 schools in Dehradun, Uttarakhand, they face challenges like the ones we looked at before: student attendance, teacher leaves, mark registration, and maintaining physical records of very important documents. Right? So what did the government or the district education officer here do? So the district here is Roorkee. You may have heard of IIT Roorkee. So this is the same district. So what the DEO, district education officer of Roorkee, did was he implemented the Ujjwal app in 120 government schools and 10 private schools, and this helped them use technology and make a lot of these administrative tasks easier and much, much more time efficient. That is less time consuming. So let's look at the impact. What exactly was the benefit of using this? First, they went paperless. There was over a 75% decrease in the daily paper usage that the schools faced in administrative tasks. This could be issuing circulars, this could be different handouts for the students, this could be the attendance register or the consolidated register, the marks register. All these were digitalized, it was on the app, and due to that, there has been a huge decrease in paper use. So that way, not only time, not only resources, but money as well. 50% decrease in errors and turnaround time in correcting these errors. So as we saw before, these schools with the Ujjwal app were able to decrease the amount of errors made, but also decrease the amount of time it took to correct any error that they create. And the last, again, not the least, this is just what Times of India, as you can see here, tells us, is that there has been over 30% decrease in the time taken to consolidate monthly marks, termly attendance and marks, and fee collection documents. So this is just one app, folks. There are so many tools that can help you get similar benefits and advantages, right? But you can see with the use of the Ujjwal app, over 120 schools were able to minimize time taken to perform administrative tasks and cost and go paperless as well. How great is that? And I'm sure a lot of you are excited to really use this in your schools as well. How does this look like? How does Ujjwal look like? We actually don't know, because the Ujjwal app sadly is not in existence anymore. Don't worry about that. I have provided 8 top-notch, cheap, and free tools such as these ones in the handout that you can just click and use. You can get similar data. So you can see here, may not have been zoomed in well, but if you can see this, you can see the app helped them get the attendance data for each month and graphs on the attendance, the trends as well, right? And this is for the marks. Again, this is really blurred, folks. I'm sorry about that. You can see that for mathematics, science, social studies, you're able to see the marks that a certain student has gotten. So similarly, the Ujjwal app catered to the schools in such manners. Now, let's look at one last one that is another case study. And this time it's going to be a role play where you folks are going to be the decision maker or the school leader here. So let's look at the scenario. You are the school leader of RSA, or the Rising Star Academy. It's located in this quaint little town in Punjab, if you know, it's called Zirakpur. And they face some challenges in administration. And this is because they don't have a lot of resources like money and time and teachers, and they also have a lot of manual processes. That means things that people have to do, nothing has been automated. So to overcome this challenge, the school management decided to integrate technology into their administration. What is the situation? This is something that you're going to have to help us. How can you, as the school leader, as the principal of RSA, use technology to improve the following administrative challenges? The first one is limited budget for enrollment software. Second is delays in reporting attendance to the management. Third is delay in fee collection. So these are three huge administrative challenges. I'm going to put it up there. I'm going to put it up here for all of you to see, and I'm going to launch a poll using which you can tell me what your solutions would be. So if you can see on your screen, a pop-up would have appeared. How can Rising Star Academy use technology to improve their administrative challenges? So please select the one that you agree with the most. One can be to implement free softwares like G Suite and eSchoolie. The next one could be count fee receipts on the last day. Others can be to build an enrollment and fee collection tool on G Suite, or to purchase expensive computers and hire more teachers and have them implement these different technologies there. And if you, of course, have any other solutions, which I'm sure you do, because you have years and years of experience, please, I request you to put that in the Q&A section. I would love to read them. But I can see that 12 out of those 14 that have voted for build an enrollment and fee collection tool on G Suite, and the others have voted for implement free softwares like G Suite. Great, amazing. I really like this, but I also want to hear some of your inputs that are not a part of this poll. Again, folks, just a reminder, this is a multiple choice poll. If you like two options, please go ahead and vote for those. But please also put down in the Q&A section, what are some tips and tricks that you can use to implement technology to solve these issues? The issues are on the screen. Please go ahead and type that in as well. Let's take 1 minute. I think this is a heavy task, and a Rising Star Academy is really depending on you as school leaders to solve these issues. So I see that a participant has mentioned use free tools. Awesome. Of course, they don't have the money. So you need to look at tools, solutions that are cheap or that don't cost any money at all. So use free tools. Participant, I request you to also add what are some free tools that you can use, right? It could be G Suite, it could be any other free softwares that you know, but what are the specific instances of free tools that you can use? Um, Feedback form. I see somebody said feedback form as well. Of course, that is useful. Please, folks, go ahead and use the Q&A button to give us your insights. If you don't know what the Q&A button looks like, it's on the bottom. It's going to be a little circle with question mark. Please use that. You can use that to type in your responses. Use softwares. Yes, participant, please go ahead and mention which software as well, because I'm sure you know what these softwares are. And it would be really helpful for others to learn about these softwares if they don't know about it. I really like the engagement here, folks. Please continue that. Let's make this, and let's make this more engaging. Let's learn from each other as well. Let me go check on the poll. I can see that a lot of you have voted for build enrollment and fee collection tools on G Suite. Great. And one of the best part is that you will be receiving templates and tutorials on how to do this in the handout. So That is going to help you a lot. I see more. Okay. MICM. Okay. Educately app. Great. Educately. That's a great app. Folks, please do explore Educately. I think that's going to help you make a lot of processes easy in your school. So please go ahead and use that. MICM. I'm not sure what MICM is. Let me just take a look at that. Is it? I think it's EduSprint. It is a school management tool. Great. I think if a participant is telling us that MICM is great, please go ahead and explore that as well. Thank you for your insights, participants. Please keep them coming. Let's take 20 more seconds and see what you have to say. And if you also want to come off mute and give us your insights as well, please go ahead and do that. We would love to hear your voice and hear first-hand instances of how you've used technology to solve these issues. Um, let's go back to the poll. Let's see what is happening. More and more votes coming in for implement free softwares. Great. Free software is going to be extremely vital in especially solving the first one, that is don't have money for enrollment software. So that's great. I see one more response that has popped up. Suggest free tools of your choice. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, sir. Please mention those. It would be great to hear your uh, uh, insights. I see that there's a participant that has raised their hands. I'm going to go ahead and allow them to speak. So participant who has raised your hand, please go ahead and come off mute and tell us what your insight is. I think we can take 10 seconds to facilitate this. Okay, so I have allowed the participant to speak. Uh, please join us in our discussion as well. If there's nothing to add, then I think we have a uh, lot of insights here, especially MICM, Educately. Please, folks, I suggest you go out and explore these apps. Don't worry if you don't want to. I have a lot of tools custom made for you in the handout that you will receive. Anyway, I'm going to publish the result of this poll so that you can see what everybody voted for. Maximum number of votes, as I expected, was to build free enrollment, easy fee and enrollment tools on G Suite. That is great. Thank you so much for participating in this um, case study, right? Let's see what some of those solutions are. Implement free softwares like G Suite and eSchool, as you have mentioned. Second one is build attendance tracker on Google Sheets and communicate frequently with stakeholders, as a lot of the majority of you have selected. And the last one is to build an enrollment and fee collection tracker on Google Sheets and constantly monitor payment collection EMI status. So thank you for staying with us for that exercise and engaging in the poll, folks. Let's quickly close a major part of the session out by summarizing what we learned today. So the first one is that we saw some administrative challenges that schools face, that is pen and paper recording, administrative costs, and inefficient management. How can we use technology and what are the benefits of technology? That is, it saves time and cost, increases efficiency, enhances communication and access, and most importantly, helps you make decisions. We also looked at two tools that can help us in different issues in school administration. That is Google Forms, can build easy surveys, track enrollment, and collect feedback. While Google Sheets can be used to track enrollment, track fee collection, track attendance, and consolidate test scores. That brings us to the end, folks. Before we close out, I would like to say thank you for joining us on a Saturday. We appreciate the time that you spend with us, especially on your day off. Let's just take one more minute and close out by telling you or giving you information on two technology-led products that we have partnered with. That is Lead School, that helps you integrate innovative tech-based learning solutions, and we have Kayan, that is a projector, a smart projector that makes teaching and learning really vibrant, interactive, and creative sessions. If you want to know more about these, or if you want to know more about what Vartana offers, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at hello@vartana.com. Our contact number to our customer experience, our sales team is also mentioned here as 08068455777. Please take a screenshot of this. Please keep it handy in case you want to reach out to us and learn more about our services and products.